I'm driving home late because I had an unexpected errand to run, and now I'm returning. And and I've got a few more miles to go, and I thought I would take up some of that time by boring y'all with a few of my thoughts. And here's a thought of, there's been so many reversals. There's been so many, there's a cooler word for that than reversal. What is it that I'm trying to think of? Inversions? Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. Where, almost like the pole shifting, where what you were used to, the configuration of things, the gestalt, if you will, has shifted to its polar opposite. And here's a big thing. This is a huge change that has taken place, culturally speaking. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, the left, people who were on the left, people who were liberals, the left was seen as like the cool guys and the ones who would stand up to the fuddy-duddies and stand up to the hall monitor types, and stand up to the Puritans and the ones who were trying to keep us from having fun. When I was growing up, it was the people on the right. It was the right-wing people, or the conservative type people, who were branded the no fun types. Who were always saying, no, you've got to follow the rules, and you can't have fun. It's important to follow the rules, and you're a bad person if you go outside of societal norms. And no, don't take drugs. Don't do fun things like take drugs and party and have fun. You should be serious and pious and etc. So it was the right wing, the conservative side of the spectrum, that was saddled with this, rightly or wrongly, was saddled with this burden of being seen as the ones who wanted to ruin your good time. And that was why, like in all the movie, like in comedy movies, the cool guy would always be somebody, like a sort of a hippie-ish guy, or ex-hippie, or some guy with long hair, like Bill Murray in Meatballs, or what have you. Somebody who comes in and he's a wise ass, and everybody who's in charge of the camp or whatever, or Robin Williams. Yeah. He was maybe probably the best example of this. Every damn Robin Williams movie was like this. It was like he goes somewhere and he's this crazy wacky guy, but he's a great guy and he makes people laugh, but the higher ups don't want him around because he doesn't play by the rules. I mean, that was Good Morning Vietnam. That was that was to some extent that prep school movie that I hate. Even though that was he was trying to move into slightly more serious territory there with that one. Oh, Captain, my Captain. But it was like everywhere he went, and what was it, Dr. Patch? I don't think I have the title exactly right, but it was whether it was whether it was Robin Williams or whether it was Bill Murray or whether it was or somebody like or Chevy Chase. These were the kind of guys who they were coded. They were left-wing coded. They might not have been, politics. It might not have been a political movie, but they were sort of coded as the liberal type. Their hair is a little longer, and they don't dress to the knot. They don't wear suits and ties, and they wear Hawaiian shirts and goof around and stuff. And that was what people thought of as when they thought of liberals back then. They thought these are the fun guys. The right was the company of scolds. These were just the evangelists who would get up and thunder about hellfire, and they were probably all hypocritical too. They love to say that. They love to do that thing where they get up and say we believe in family values, and then you see them having an affair or something like that. It's like ha 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 ha. He's a hypocrite. Ha ha ha. That they really went for that cheap shot a lot. But these were the tropes. These were the common tropes of movies and pop culture generally in the 70s and 80s. I remember in the 70s, especially this, like the word uptight. This was a little bit before my time, but when I go back and watch some old 70s shows, like whatever, I can't even remember what specific one it was, but there would be like somebody, like the hero would rip on somebody else for being uptight. Hey, like there was something where some character's name was Updike, and they'd say, "Hey, uptight." So there's like, that was just a remnant of that whole trope of mocking the conservative for being straight-laced and not wanting and being wanting to follow the rules, wanting everyone else to follow the rules, not thinking that it's sinful to be fun, and of course they smuggle in stuff like drugs are actually good, hedonism, sex outside of wedlock is actually good, it's fun, it's good. Well, those were the tropes back then, and it's been totally reversed. Because now the tropes that we cannot escape, I don't know if they're in movies so much because movies are obviously the politics of the people who make movies are they're still trying to advance leftist thought, but it means something entirely different. You could be a leftist and still say a bunch of outrageous and politically incorrect and make lewd comments and slap a girl's behind and be fun and still be funny and still be like a cool irreverent guy, like in these 70s comedy movies, like these Animal House type, these like National Lampoon kind of movies, or movies that were pop culture whether it was movies or TV shows or something else, stuff that was based on that. You could have a guy be irreverent and say, make dirty jokes, and the pretty girls would all start laughing, and giggling, and but that kind of person today would be like, "Whoa, you're sexual harassment! How dare you talk that way? You're creating a hostile work environment," and so the scold, the tropes are changing because the culture has changed. So now, the scolds are the people of the left, because nobody really. I mean, I know I'm oversimplifying. I know there are some pockets of society where, religion still holds sway to a greater extent, but in general, in the popular culture, it's the left that has assumed this position of sanctimony, of telling everyone else what they should and shouldn't do, what they should and shouldn't say, getting to cancel someone, getting to ruin someone, telling someone they need to be shunned if they say the wrong word or make the wrong type of joke or engage in the wrong type of behavior. It's totally on the other foot. Totally. And that is a cultural inversion that's happened. And, I think, of course, and I've said this before, I think a lot of the cultural changes that we've seen over the course of my lifetime, I think a lot of them are pushed on us. They don't just happen naturally. These are changes that are being pushed from on high. We had the sexual revolution pushed on high. We had drugs pushed upon us on high. Guess who specialized in LSD? The drug of the counterculture of the 60s, right? guess who was behind LSD? It was 3 other letters: CIA. LSD was the CIA's drug. And so with various changes that have happened, this inversion, this unlikely inversion has taken place to now where if you are of the left, if you are someone who is left-leaning, you kind of have this burden that you have to. It's like kind of like what the Democrats are trying to do right now. They're trying desperately to say, how can we find our own Joe Rogan? How can we find our own laid back, easygoing, guy's guy who just is going to sit around and smoke a little and just be an easygoing sort of guy, but cool enough to get young men back on our side again, because the young men they're tired of being yelled at. They're tired of being told what monsters they are and how nobody owes them anything, and how they're just a bunch of incels and patriarchy and blah blah blah. So it's the left that has the problem of trying to seem like, no, we're not all scolds, we're not all mean, haughty, tyrannical scolds who just want to police everything that you say or do. We're not like that, really. We can be fun too. Look, we can be fun. We can be relatable. You can just sit down with us and have a beer, have a smoke, and it's all right. We're cool with that. Yeah, right. You are. Nobody believes it. And that's an inversion that's really really quite extraordinary when you think about it. To think that that's happened. Just over the course of the last 3 decades, I guess, or so. Anyway, those are my thoughts as I'm driving home on a rainy night. It's clearing up a little bit. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for listening.